Hello carnivores, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. Hope you all are having a Gouda meat-fueled day. As usual, drop a comment down below updating me on how you all are doing on your carnivore journeys. Feel free to also follow me on Instagram at Steak and Butter Gal for even more carnivore content, tips, and tricks. For today's video, I get to present to you guys another roundtable discussion. It will feature two of my coaches, which you guys have already met if you've watched my previous roundtable discussions, Coach Emily Harvo and Coach Raymond Nazon. These two amazing carnivore coaches teach the weekly priming and fasting classes in the Steak and Butter Gang challenges. So it is my honor to have both of them in one video for you guys. In addition to having Coach Emily and Coach Raymond on, I will also get to invite on two amazing success stories, Sally and Brian. You guys will get to meet them, hear their entire experience completing the full 90-day fat loss program, their struggles, their victories, and how they are doing now, today. If this is your first roundtable video that you clicked on my channel, I highly recommend also checking out the two previous roundtable videos that I have filmed. I will make sure to link it down below in the description box. For those who are already familiar with this fat loss program that Coach Raymond has designed, I do want to announce that my September 30-day carnivore challenge is now open for sign up. I'm very excited to present yet another fantastic guest panel for the September challenge. It's going to feature Dr. Elizabeth Bright, Dr. Robert Kiltz, Dr. Rachel Brown, Professor Bart Kay, and Coach Cherish Thompson. Please sign up with the link down below in the description box or go to sbgmeetup.com. Now, without further ado, let me first invite on my coaches, Coach Emily and Coach Raymond. Hi, coaches. How are you?
Hey, Bella.
So I want to spend a few minutes just chatting with you coaches first before I invite on our success stories. First question is for you, Coach Raymond. How did you even come across the idea of creating a priming protocol? And then how did that lead to your feasting and fasting program?
This was a multi-year project, actually, but I stumbled on the priming, which was the most important part within my 3 months journey of carnivore with Dr. Baker's challenge, N equals many. I told myself that if I even thought about food, I would stick a piece of meat in my mouth. And I did. I just ate and ate and ate. And surprisingly, I started stopping wanting to eat so much, but I still tried to force it. I forced it to the point where I was doing accidental OMADs. And I was like, is there something there? And I knew meat was satiating already. But I was like, I don't want to undereat. I don't want to make that mistake. That was the biggest thing, because I've already read enough that says that every carnivore post that you see is always like, oh, you haven't eaten enough. So I wanted to make sure I had that. And I always had it in the mindset that, well, it's not a calorie restriction diet, so I should be able to eat as much as I want and can. And if meat is the proper human diet, it shouldn't be any harm to do that. So I literally tested that on myself, and I noticed I was paying attention to the timing at that time. When I started becoming a coach, I started trying it out on others. Okay. Actually, at first, before even that, I was trying the old standard coaching, saying, hey, you know, all you need to do is stay carnivore until you see me next time, kind of thing, right? And then I started having like pretty bad failure rates, right? I was getting under, 30%, success rates and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm going to see if I can do it my way. And I started telling him that, and the success rate just started going upwards of 65% of people who actually wanted to continue on carnivore and actually holding it. It got to the point where before I was spending all my time, which was about 30 minutes, just coaching him and motivate him to stay on, right? Meanwhile, I'm done in the first 10 minutes now in all my coachings. And it's like, what do I talk about? So it's like, because it's that easy, right? Yeah. And not only that, with the fasting protocols, I noticed there's a pattern to that fast. So I started seeing patterns in everything. So all my clients started fasting when they've never fasted before, and they started having these great results. I've never taught a group until you, Bella. So I was like, yes, it's great touching one person here, one person there, but how long is that going to take to actually help the world, right? It's not possible. I want as many carnivores as possible out here so that, my meat is protected. How about that? That's one reason. I was like, the only way to do it is to be able to do it in a whole group. And this is where you come in, Bella. And now I have the option to teach it to a whole group of people. And the success rate has just kept on going up because my coaching plus community.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about, we're at the 80, 90 percentile, that people that just stick around and they're just wanting more and more of carnivore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what it's all about.
Yes.
And I think that's what's really made it for me in a nutshell.
Yeah, and we can go on and on with the victories and the successes that we have seen, witnessed with our own eyes, heard from our members in the meetings, but you guys will get to meet two of them. So let me go to Emily. What made you even give Raymond's program a try? Was there anything in particular that caught your eye?
You know, the vibe of the group was so welcoming, so positive. From the first meeting I attended, I kept on hearing transformation stories. I kept on hearing people transforming their mental health, transforming disease processes, all of these incredible, like miraculous things that were happening in people's lives, and having this group to share it in. And so it made me think, okay, I think I'm onto something. I had already experienced carnivore and so much joy I had had it by my first 6 months, but I was still restricting. I was still counting. I was still tracking. And so I was kind of on a downward spiral, was exercising too much, hearing the freedom that other people had, and hearing Raymond talk about food freedom, which of course I had a version of that with carnivore itself, where my cravings had gone down. But when I decided to try feasting, it was for 2 reasons. 1, because I wanted the food freedom, and 2, because I loved fasting and I could tell I was even going to love it more. And I wanted this kind of a neutral state fasting, this metabolic state fasting where you just don't even have to struggle. You don't white knuckle. You're not, having to like cheer each other on and like fight so hard and get some of the bad things that can happen with the hair loss and your thyroid tanking. And so I was just so curious. And I took to it immediately, having this concept that I could feast, that every time that I ate, it was feast time. I could just go for it. And I had tried to do alternate day fasting and rolling 48s in the past, and I couldn't do it. My body just couldn't do it. And so trying it Raymond's way, focusing on the feasting, was like, oh, finally I can do this. And so I just got maximum efficiency. I was able to do a lot of alternate day fast, 48 hours, did a lion diet. There were just so many things that I was trying to will myself through. And after I tried things Raymond's way, I didn't have to will myself through it anymore. It just came naturally to me. And the recomp came as well. So that was, phenomenal. All those things were coming together and making me so happy that then I became one of the persons that would not shut up about my transformation. So we decided we better get some energy behind this going so that we can just spread it further and make it accessible to more and more people.
It's just incredible to watch your 180 flip of being a member, going through it yourself, and then now a coach teaching it yourself. Actually, I do want to add in what I noticed as an observer in the meetings. A lot of the times, yes, I'm facilitating, hosting, but most of the time I'm a student. I'm listening and I am learning and I'm loving every minute of the sharing. But I have to say, what excites and impresses Raymond the most is when he sees a member who was a pro faster, right? And then they come on the meeting and they update us and they say, Coach Raymond, I could not believe fasting was this easy. I have been doing it wrong this whole time, and it hits Raymond and just makes him so happy.
Yeah, it's a night and day transformation for that aspect of it. And it's a night and day transformation in our outlook and our attitude overall, because having this permission to not restrict, to just feast completely, it changes everything in your life. And it just opens doors for you mentally. Every day you're like, I get to live like this now. You had no idea that you could live free from the oppressive burden of restriction, that has no place in our life anymore, that we are just moving through our days in a natural human state, honoring our appetites and not having fear about food anymore. That's done. I
was actually tickled pink that Emily was willing to come on. Especially after seeing her story. I was very fascinated by her because she's had like 4 years experience at that time, right? Of fasting. Yeah. So she knew the ins and outs of all the intricacies of fasting. And, my way was very different. And yet she took to it like, wow, she was willing to try it. And I was like, wow. Now she was a little hesitant to do the priming, but I pushed her on that. Which the part that was amazing is we did 10 rolls together. Remember that? Yeah, sure. 10 rolls of 48. That's a long time for somebody who could not and did not like rolls at all.
That's right.
And I wanted to prove to her that there is a much smarter way to fast than what they've been teaching us. The key to all of this is really carnivore, right? Even though if Emily comes from a fasting background, but the key to making it easy is carnivore. But the thing is carnivores do not seem to accept the fasting portion because they take it not the proper way like we do, the feasting and fasting, the nourished fast. Correct. It's a totally different conversation. We almost need a vocabulary just for what we're doing because it's so different. But once you marry those two together, that's magic. And I believe that's how us as humans have evolved. This is what's making us stronger. This is what's getting our client successes. Our successes were that way.
Again, if you do not know what the terms that Coach Raymond used just now, like feasting and fasting, priming, please do check out my 2 previous roundtable videos. We speak in depth about these terms. And for my viewers who are familiar and who want to jump in, please go to sbgmeetup.com. Everything is linked down below in the description box as well. Both of you, share your age and your most prized victory out of all of this.
Sure. I am 51 years old. My most prized victory is confidence and feeling great every day.
I'm 50 years old. My most prized accomplishment is this community. Oh. I cannot believe that we've gathered a community of like minds that is actually willing to learn from each other.
Yeah.
This is true humanity in my eyes. This is what should be all about. And I get to witness it. I get to be in the front row seat of that. So truly, that is my greatest accomplishment. I could die right now. That'd be like, great.
Stop. Oh my God. So extra. I love it. Thank you, coaches. Thank you so much. I'm sure you all can agree that Coach Raymond and Coach Emily are some amazing human beings. Every time I speak to them or watch them teach their live fasting and priming classes, I'm always filled with so much joy, love, and inspiration. For those interested in learning Coach Raymond's full fat loss program, just go to sbgmeetup.com to sign up for the upcoming challenge. You guys will get to meet both Emily and Raymond, spend time with them live on Zoom, follow along their program, and get free weekly schedules. So now I'm going to invite on my very first success story, Sally Bowers. She is 60 years young. Sally has lost more than 100 pounds, healed her leaky gut, her insulin resistance. Today, Hashimoto's does not control her life anymore. She no longer has to take any medication for it, and she has been able to get her thyroid numbers in normal range thanks to the carnivore diet and the full fat loss program. So without further ado, let me invite on the amazing Sally Bowers. Hi, Sally. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
I would love to take a few steps backwards to the beginning of your carnivore journey. What were some of the biggest struggles that you wanted to overcome when you first started?
Sugar addiction. I was the worst kind of sugar addict. I lived on sugar. I would go months and months on sugar with, little to no protein in my diet at all. I was severely edemic, severely overweight, fatty liver. I mean, you name it. I had it all. And then I was diagnosed with Hashimoto, hypothyroid and Hashimoto. At that point, I just decided that I wasn't going to let that compound because one autoimmune leads to another, which leads to another. And so I started doing a lot of research about Hashimoto. I wanted to find out how I could get rid of it. Dr. Berry with his wife, Nisha, helped. I mean, I listened to a lot of that stuff. I saw Emily on Instagram, and my focus at the time is like, I wanted Hashimoto gone, but weight loss was just as important to me. And when I saw Emily's pictures, it was, she had like my body shape at that time, and where she was from where she got to just totally inspired me. And I said, okay, if she can do that, I can maybe do that. I didn't know. I needed hope. Okay. And that's kind of why I do this, because I want to give other people hope. My granddaughter was a big part of that. She was born under a pound, and so many things hit her, and she lived and she survived, and she's doing incredible with no deficits. And I watched that, and as sick as I was, only thinking about the next bite of sugar, it didn't seem to matter. I just wanted sugar, no matter how sick I was, how much pain I was in. I looked at her one day because I was like, I'm not going to live very much longer. And I was like, if I want to live past the next year, I have to do something. And I looked at her, and it was like, if she can survive all that, I can do this. Mm-hmm. And all of this together kind of got me going. And I had to do cold turkey. I can't moderate any kind of sweetness. Mm-hmm. So I jumped right in. I think it was about 7 months in when I saw Emily online, and she kept talking about the challenges. And so I was like, I want to do this, but my mind wasn't completely there. I started thinking about sweeteners, and I had sweeteners, and it led to sugar. And so the 6 months in my 19-month journey, the 6 months in the middle, it kind of derailed me, and I made no progress. I actually gained weight. I met a deck during that time too, because I had since joined the challenges, and a deck just kept me focused. Yes. And so come January of this year, I jumped all in. If I'm going to do this, it has to be pure. And I knew pure, I had to get rid of all dairy. It was the only way to get rid of Hashimoto, because dairy just messes with that. January 2nd, I went all in. That was the difference. And the challenges, just the coaches, the information, just the constant support was amazing. And I didn't know I needed that at the time. I didn't know until it was there in front of me. It kept me focused, and it brought me right in. And not having all that sugar or any kind of sweetener as an option was a game changer, because when it's not an option, you just it makes it easier. And I went through all the levels. That's kind of how I got here.
What are your first impressions of Sally when she first came into the group, and how do you feel about her progress?
Oh my goodness. It has been such the transformation. She has been so open with her journey. And as she has, it's like when you see somebody in the different phases where sometimes we're full of our own excuses when we start. And even when we're saying them or sharing them, it's so easy for other people to see and not ourselves. And yet sharing where we're at is so healing, because then we start to hear ourselves. And so this hard-hitting truth about having to let the sweeteners go, people think we're so harsh about that. And yet we look at your journey and see how much freedom you have from letting that go. It has been incredible to watch your transformation and to see you become a learner and coming and seeking, and to see you become now somebody who reaches out and helps and who speaks so much truth, who has your own incredible transformation story. We basically have the same before and after pictures that, have these huge transformations now. And so this, you're the person that's inspiring another person to start their journey and to have hope from that hopeless spot. So it's been absolutely phenomenal to watch you transform and to see you heal. Your healing has been incredible to witness.
So I remembered when you started and you were updating us, you were so strict on the calendar, taking orders at that time.
Right.
And it was so interesting how hard you put yourself on these calendars. Like, I'm doing it. Right. And you followed everything to a T. And, I remember that time where this came to become a disfavor for you, because you're like, if I don't have a schedule, I don't know what to do. And I knew right then and there, I was like, wait a minute, there is one piece missing here. And the piece was that you didn't trust your body. And you said that. I cannot trust myself. And I was like, Sally, you can't go further on without having that synchronization between your mind and body. This dance between your mind and body, you have to accept your body for who it is. And when you did, that was it. You let go. You became a different woman the next time I talked to you. It was so, I know it sounded just so small, but it was so big for you. And you are a different person now, I think, because of it. Even though you followed it to the T, all of it had the great result. But I don't think if you didn't finally let go and go wild, that you wouldn't have had the results you've had after. Kudos on that. Kudos on even chiming in so often. And that was the big thing about you. I mean, I think you chimed in almost, every week, and you were on almost like every call. So it was great. I loved it. Yeah.
So Sally, talk a little bit about that turning point, because I still remember that moment in the meeting very clearly. You were very taken aback by what Raymond told you, because Raymond kind of just hit you like a brick and just said, just let go, right? So how did that feel for you, and what happened?
I know I nearly had a meltdown. I've lost weight. I've lost 100 pounds before. It's like you go up, and as soon as you're coming down, and you're just on your way back up again. And I've never, ever been able to maintain. And with this, it's going to happen. I have no doubt. But when he said that to me, I don't know, did I cry? I felt like I was crying inside.
You were real upset. I remember that.
Yeah, I thought I was going to lose my mind in that moment, because I didn't know how to let go. I didn't know how to do that. I had to process it. And when I did that, it was, okay, you're focusing on the scale, and that's just making me crazy. And as soon as I stopped focusing on the scale, I could feel the difference in my body, because I couldn't feel that before. And I remember saying to you guys, I was like, there's air in my pants.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's air, there's like room between my skin and my pants. I knew the healing that was happening, because I was fanatical about the blood work numbers and all that. I still had way too much focus on the scale. And when I let go of that, everything changed within me. And it just felt different. It's like, and I see people doing it now, like on the calls. I see their focus, and I just want to hug them. I just want to be like, oh, it's like, I've been where you are. You need somehow find a way to let go. I adapted the schedule. I couldn't completely just let it go and go wild, but I let go of the stress of it, and
Yes.
I adapted it just for my life. It's just been completely different.
This is the goal, exactly. And we know that when we start on this certain pattern and these certain schedules, it's great to experience that. And then we come to our own understanding what our own body needs. And so getting to this point where the body feels safe, and then the mind can relax and the body can relax. And then the natural shape that the body was intended to have the whole time tends to come into line.
Everything just started going. My body felt better. My hair loss stopped. Completely. And it's been great. All of you together combined have wisdom in so many different ways, and bring it all together. I needed that. I didn't even know how much I needed that.
Well, Sally, I want to say, did you say you were 62? Is that right?
I'll be 60 in November.
60. Okay, 60. For 60, I mean, that's amazing. I think you look gorgeous. I mean, actually gorgeous no matter what. Forget the 60. So stunning. No, really, you really do. You need to sometimes every now and then look at yourself like others see you. Like us, for example, how we see you. We think, wow, this is the beautiful Sally Bowers on here, with such great energy, And I know this sounds foreign to you, but this is how we think of you. Or else you wouldn't be in this video now, right?
When you come on, we say, wow. We just see your hair, your skin, your loving attitude, the way we see you mentor people. We are blown away when every time we see you, we're just like, wow.
Yeah. And you're an inspiration. You really are. Honestly, after you put those pictures up, which I'm so glad that we had that talk and you put it up, because it floored me. I loved it. And I know you're inspiring so many people today. Look, I can change my life also because you did it.
Yes. Sally, how are you? We love you.
I'm okay. I am so happy to be with you guys. And Bella, thank you. Thank you. Because you are an amazing human being. You have so much heart, and the way you relate to everyone with the calls and relate to us as a team, I've never experienced anything like it. And that's the game changer in all of this. And I wish everyone would see, once they come in, it's like and they do, you can see it in the chats.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're just like this. There's no support like this. That's why I'm just spreading it to the world.
I agree. And that's what we need to do.
Sally, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. You guys who are watching right now, I'm sure you all are super, super moved by Sally's story, her transformation. Sally is in the team, so you guys will definitely get to meet her, chat with her once you join the challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing from Sally. If you would like to meet Sally, get in touch with her. She is very active in the steak and butter gang. The next and last guest that I will invite on to share his success story is Brian. Brian is 51 years young, and he has also completed the entire fat loss program designed by Coach Raymond. You will hear all about his experience, his struggles, and his victories, and we will also be featuring a lot of progress photos throughout his interview. So Brian, thank you so much for being here. I would love for you to open up with explaining how the full 90-day experience was like for you.
It was great. What I was really shocked by was how easy it was and hard it was at the same time. Now the hardest part was the priming part. Giving myself free license to eat as much as I want plus more. That really had me very, very worried because I was so much to binging and restriction. So that really kind of scared the hell out of me. And honestly, I didn't really have much faith in Raymond or Emily. I thought they were full of, you know what, to be honest with you.
It sounds crazy, right? This philosophy, we're saying this is the way to restore your health is to feast and just feast like you've never feasted before. And your brain's like, what? And so how did you decide to listen to these people who you thought were full of, you know what?
I had to be brutally honest with myself because everything that I had been trying up to that point was not working. So then what I did is, I've had other coaching relationships, with fight training in the past or a lot of other things that I've done. Your coaches have more experience and they can see things and they have a more of an objective view. I was going to give you guys 30 days and just do exactly what you guys told me. If I would have had it all figured out, I would have already been where I want to be already. So I went ahead and just listened to you guys for once. I had to set my ego aside, which, that's not always an easy thing to do, just to really admit to yourself that, I needed help and I needed advice. I needed coaching. And most important is I needed to actually listen and follow the advice, at least give you guys the benefit of the doubt in the beginning.
And we are so grateful that you gave that to us because look at you now. You are flourishing, you're thriving. Brian, how old are you?
I'm 51.
I'm 50 also, but yeah, he's right by my age. So this is fantastic that you walked that path and actually you felt all of the wonders that I felt going through this journey myself. So, and of course the doubts, the doubts were there for me too. And even through that priming, there were times I wanted to quit. And I know you felt that too, but it's pushing beyond that really teaches you that little much extra. And that's what I think you chose to do.
I'm a therapist, so I know how my own mind can play tricks on me. I don't even trust half the bullshit my mind comes up with because I know better.
Right.
And so to fight that, what I highly recommend, what was super important for me is I took weekly progress pics, whether I felt like it or not. And I did the exact same pic, the same lighting, the same position, the same frame every single time, because when those moments when I was doubting and I was worrying if what I was doing was the right thing, because if you're looking at yourself from day to day, your mind can play tricks on you. Is this working? Am I making any difference? I feel better, but am I losing any body fat? But when you look at the pictures and you're comparing them from week to week, side by side, you can't deny you get actual objective feedback. And the best part about that is I shared them with you guys because sometimes I look at those pictures and I thought, I don't see a difference. Is it, am I looking at this right? It's almost as if my vision and my mind are playing tricks on me. So it was good to get that objective feedback from other people who can specifically tell me, I can see you lost some more fat around your neck or around your chest, and that was really encouraging. It was just the pictures for one. That was a big thing for me. I had been treating my body like an amusement park instead of like a temple. I knew that maybe someday I would have some complications with the way I was treating myself down the road, until one day I was putting on my shoes and I thought, did my shoelaces get shorter? Why are my shoelaces shorter? It doesn't look like they got cut or anything. And I took off my shoes and pulled off my socks, and my ankles were so swollen I could barely fit in my shoes. And that scared the holy hell out of me. And then I realized that, okay, the time, everything's caught up to me. All my bad choices, it's here, it's now. You know, I can't deny that what I've been doing. I can't think that I can defer the cost of how I've been treating myself. No, it's happened now. So that was when I started your program, right then.
Now, from what I understood back then, you said you were a major carb addict, and was it sugar also?
I wasn't the kind of person who could have a cookie.
Right.
Yeah.
No. A serving for me wasn't the 2 or 3 that says on the package. A serving for me was the entire package, regardless of the size of it.
Yeah.
So whether it be 100-calorie pack or whether it be a giant family pack, no, I would eat the whole damn thing.
You could eat the whole thing.
Yes.
Easily. I could eat, and I would trick myself like, well, we're going to get the family pack so the rest of the family can have, you know, so
Oh, God.
It's a better deal. Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Full of crap. So then I would eat the whole thing and I would binge on that. And then I would try to atone for my tasty transgressions by
Fast it off.
fasting.
Yes.
Try to fast it off.
Revenge
Yes.
Yeah. Then those cravings would just kick in so intensely, and I would white knuckle for fasting for as long as I could.
Yeah.
Right.
And then guess what happens when I do eat something? I just go right back
Crash
and do
again.
the same
thing
cycle
again.
all over again. Yeah. So I was literally doing that. It wasn't until the priming that just completely obliterated that.
It short circuits. There's
Yeah.
something about this extremes that we used to go to, and extreme punishment and extreme out of control eating. And it's like, it reminds me of the Stop the Insanity, the priming prospect, where you just go for it with carnivore food. There's no carbs in this food, that it just stabilizes everything and gives you this reset. And people are so scared of the reset. And I appreciate that, you know, you're telling us, and that you said it's part of the scared parts of your brain, you just need to set those to the side for a little bit and say, hey, nothing has worked so far. This has got me into horrible binge cycles and restriction cycles.
Again, if you do not know what the terms used just now, like feasting and fasting, priming, please do check out my 2 previous roundtable videos. We speak in depth about these terms. And for my viewers who are familiar and who want to jump in, please go to sbgmeetup.com. Everything is linked down below in the description box as well. Speaking of being new to carnivore and sugar addiction, it is important that when you do transition into carnivore diet, especially if you're transitioning from the standard American diet, or even worse, the vegan or vegetarian diet, that you keep tabs on electrolytes. Most of the times with my new carnivores, just salting heavily and salting to taste will be enough. But if you're still experience adaptation symptoms, fatigue, headaches, low energy, difficulty sleeping, muscle cramps, this is when electrolytes do come in handy. And I highly recommend Elements electrolytes. Check out the raw unflavored version because it is free of any stevia. So it's basically just measured out for you guys, sodium, potassium, and magnesium only. And they come in little packets where you can throw in your bag, drink whenever you are needing a little boost of electrolytes. If you're feeling a little low energy or you're about to work out, and as you can see, you get a bunch of these little baggies of their electrolytes. You rip it open, pour it in your beverage of choice, and you are good to go. For everyone who is watching, you guys can get a free sample pack right here with any purchase, as long as you go to the URL on the screen, drinklmnt.com/SBGAL. I've also linked it down below in the description box if you want a clickable link. And yes, the raw unflavored one is included in the free sample pack.
I'm curious, as a therapist, did you think it was something that you could play with your mind to try to get you off of the sugar at one point in time? And did that ever work?
I was in a therapy session with a colleague for another issue, but somehow this came up. I was okay, whenever I'm ready to do this, I know I can do this. But there was a part of me is like, oh, but for now I'm enjoying myself and having fun, so I don't want to do it yet, right? But after I had that health scare, and I saw my ankles swelling up to double, triple their size, and I couldn't put on my shoes, and all of a sudden I was ready. That's when I became open to the possibility and understanding that I can't do this on my own. I don't have all the answers. I need support.
Were you carnivore before starting the 90-day program, or was that your first day of carnivore with us?
I tried carnivore, not following you guys. I tried it no less than 7 times, and I failed miserably every time because I wasn't eating enough. So I would only go for like 3 days tops, and I failed every time. And I also tried keto, but I was doing all the artificial sweeteners and all the Diet Cokes and all that other stuff, and I couldn't succeed with that. So, but something inside me just told me that carnivore was the way to go. After I saw a lot of your videos, Bella, and then what really convinced me too is I saw some videos that Raymond had done, and then also it actually inspired me too because you're the same age as me. So I thought, okay, I would love. And before I thought that me having a 6-pack was just not for me. That was just not in the cards. It was too late for that, But now I'm going to catch up to you, Raymond.
You are. That's right. You are catching up. You are.
Right.
I'm looking at your pictures, man. Looking good.
You just wait. Yeah.
That's
so.
Right.
But
looking forward to
that
it.
really inspired me, though. Seeing someone who's the same age, had a lot of similar problems, but you actually had a lot more health complications than I did. But I knew that it was just a matter of time before I started getting those. The key and the killer app is the 2 weeks priming. That is the key to that program, because there's no way in hell I could have ever managed to do it. Because after that first 2 weeks, you suffer the 2 weeks, and then the rest is easy mode.
Mm-hmm. And you can't do it very well without support. That's what's so beautiful that Bella has done when she's established this, that we have a way to talk about it, to process it. You've been with us for such a long time now. You know what questions we're going to have. You know the struggles that people are going to have. And now you have a different role as a helper, and you're in a mentor role now. And so the group itself really changes and grows together over time.
Yeah, but the group is still helpful for me because sometimes I still get in my own head, and sometimes I still come to crazy conclusions.
Yes.
And I have to run it by you guys. I'm thinking, am I thinking straight here? Because sometimes I'll start second guessing a lot of stuff. Still, I mean, less and less. I think the training wheels are pretty much off, but every once in a while, I'll still falter a little bit. I'll still have a little wobble, and it's just really good to get that feedback from you guys and to bounce that off you guys, just to still kind of keep me a little accountable, keep me on track, and also, there's no one else in my life that's following this kind of
you can talk about this.
This community aspect is so powerful. I think that's why we just keep coming back and being so present in this. And so, it's a key to people's transformations. Like you said, you tried it on your own 7 times, 6,
maybe more, minimum 7.
Oh yeah. But doing this in a group setting with other people committed to the same goals, that makes a night and day difference between being able to do it.
It was nice to have the group because, that happened to me too. And this is how you get through it.
Yes.
And that was really helpful, because in the past, if I was doing that on my own, I wouldn't know how to get past it. I wouldn't have had the faith just to keep pushing, and knew it would be temporary and it would be past, or knew there was some kind of, fix or something like that.
So you graduated from priming, and then Raymond introduced you to all of the whole world of fasting, right? And you said that you used to punish yourself with fasting before. How was fasting different for you?
Before, it just seemed like no matter how much I ate, I was always hungry, and I was planning what I was going to eat next, thinking about what I was going to eat, like obsessing what I was going to eat. It seemed like a huge part of my day, of my mental space was consumed by that. And I didn't really realize how much until after my body was fully nourished. Yeah. And I was just felt so nourished that it was just easy to go 1 meal a day, and then just to graduate to, a meal every other day. Yeah. And then maybe go a couple extra days, and if I did feel a little bit of hunger, I knew it was a little bit of suggestive hunger, but it wasn't like that ravenous, like, oh my God, I got to eat now kind of hunger. It was just like, it was kind of like, well, you kind of like remember what food tastes like. And so it would be kind of nice to taste that. I felt so nourished that even just the thought of, well, I'd have to go thaw something out, and I'd have to cook it, and then I have to, forget it. I'll just do whatever it is I'm doing right now instead.
And Brian, what's your comfort zone when it comes to fasting? Because Raymond and Emily have led you through all of their different variations of fasts. Where do you like to just sit and enjoy?
In the beginning, I was I was pretty comfortable with doing the rolling 48s. But then I started shifting, and I'm just taking a break from fasting because I got this crazy idea in my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it seasonally, because I figured, what do bears do in the winter, when they hibernate, because I'm still getting the results that I want.
Yeah.
And I still feel good. And I just enjoy that meal so much. And I don't even think about eating until I'm eating it. And then once I'm done, I'm satisfied. I'm not thinking about anything all day. This is just the new me. I mean, I can't even remember, even if I try, I can't even remember what I was like before for me.
Yeah. I admired the discipline that you had on posting these pictures. And I think that was the actual importance of it.
Yeah.
You kept on at it, and you made sure you got us pictures every week. And that's, believe it or not, whether it was a success or not, it was irrelevant. You got those pictures up there, and I got to give you kudos for that. I think that was great. And we got to watch your progress.
Brian, thank you so much for your time. I have to say that I think personally, just watching you from day one to today, I have seen your evolution from being, kind of lost, just desperately needing help, eating all of the sugary foods, coming in, but being open about it. He was honest. He admitted that he needed help. And throughout that entire journey that you shared with us, you have been nothing but consistent. And I have to say, that is a rare, rare trait. And for those who joined the Steak and Butter Gang and joined the, the fat loss program that Raymond has designed, the ones who have seen, or that we see the most success, are the ones who stay consistent with keeping us posted on their progress, their struggles, their questions. Every single week, Brian comes into at least one of the meetings, updates us, posts a question, chats in the chat boxes, gives words of encouragement now. And it's because of that I think Brian is flourishing and thriving today. And look at you, you're on my channel sharing your success story. Like, I am so proud of you, Brian. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brian.
I just can't thank you guys enough. You guys have just been such a help. I just love you guys so much.
We love you. We're touched. We are touched.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed hearing from Brian and Sally, and also my coaches, Coach Emily and Coach Raymond. Again, if you would like to learn more about the fat loss program, I highly recommend you check out my previous roundtable videos. I will link it down below in the description box. But if you are sure that you would like to go ahead and start the full fat loss program and have access to all of the feasting and fasting classes that Raymond and Emily teach every single week, please sign up for the upcoming 30-day carnivore challenge at sbgmeetup.com. If you are a returning member, please sign in at sbgmeetup.com and then sign up for the September challenge within the Steak and Butter Gang community. When you guys go to this URL, you will see that you have two options for sign up. One will give you access to the full 30-day carnivore challenge to the specific month coming up. And the second option is going to be a monthly subscription. If you are sure that you will commit to the full 90 days, I recommend you go with the monthly subscription so that you can seamlessly have access to each new month. You will be placed into each new month's challenge group without having to do anything, so that you can start and continue the full experience without having to manually sign up over and over. But if you just want to try out 1 month or sign up for each month one at a time as you go, then I recommend you just sign up for the 30-day individual carnivore challenge. Again, if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to DM me on Instagram at Steak and Butter Gal or email me. All details and info is down below in the description box. So please do open the description box below and check out the links, the info, and the details. Thank you again so much for watching to the very end. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications. Feel free to share this video with friends and family to help me spread the message of the carnivore lifestyle. I'll see you all in my next video. Have a good day.